answer.
My name is Gordon Strain. I've worked at IRT. I've designed the Scottish play in 2008, and I did Romeo and Juliet and Love Letters last season. I worked here as an overhire carpenter when I was in high school. When I was in college, I went in with the idea that I was just going to build scenery and sort of always be a carpenter. And I had a professor that sort of pushed me in other ways and challenged me to be more artistic and less sort of practical about it. And I ended up enjoying it more, so I continued going that way. And since then, I've worked a lot in sculpture. I think I just prefer theater because I prefer the collaboration. I like to do sculpture, I like to do my own painting, but I prefer working with a group of people and coming up with a bigger idea and a bigger sort of purpose to it. So the biggest challenge with this show is that the entire play takes place in her dream. And so the type of research that I did for that wasn't the normal, hey, let's go, look at historical research or this type of art research. It was kind of like, well, how do people dream and how are they different, and what can read on stage as not being absurd from a dream but also still relate to people as a dream world. So it was a different type of challenge in that way. It's not like there are always egos in the way, but there were no egos. I mean, it was kind of like, guy had an idea about hanging a wedding dress on the set, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And if I had an idea about costumes, it all sort of worked together, and it was very truly collaborative the whole way. I will say that this play, every time I read it, I cried. Every time I've seen a full run-through, I cried, and even as we worked through the tech process, which is very choppy and takes many hours, there were moments where I found myself very on the verge, I guess. It was broken up enough that I didn't break up, but it definitely has a lot of emotional response for me. So I'll have my Kleenex for opening night. My favorite part of the design is the color choice. We went back and forth a lot on what we wanted to do with colors, and originally we had talked about an all-white set, and maybe that was dreamlike, and we toyed with a lot of colors, and we ended with this very lavender to pink sort of blend over the whole thing. And the lavender has just turned out to be absolutely amazing on stage. It's beautiful on its own, it's beautiful with the lights, and there's so much that you can do with it. It can be very cool, it can be warm, it can be calm, and it can be tense. So I would have to say the color choice is my favorite element, but I love the fence too. I enjoy the upper stage, and I was actually having dinner with some friends the other night and explaining the show, and this show especially, I just don't know how it could work in a different type of space. I feel like because it is so emotional, having the audience all the way around and as close as they are on the upper stage is really what this show needs.